Hello, podcasters. Welcome to Brains Byte Back, where we explore how knowledge and technology intersect to build a better, more sustainable future by speaking with the thought leaders leading the way. On this episode, we sit down with Ricardo Ramon, the Chief Sales Officer at Fracttal, not your typical maintenance management solution platform. Instead, their team is actively using emerging technologies to elevate efficiency and reinvent the industry. We talk about how they found a niche in the market and grew from there, their focus on sustainability, and why security remains a top priority for their team at Fracttal.
I'm Ricardo Ramon. I work for Fracttal. We are a technology company specialized in applying technology to the maintenance management, maintenance of assets, physical assets in several industries. My role in the company, I'm the Chief Sales Officer, so I oversee the sales team, across five offices, and I'm responsible for the revenue, budget, and P&L lines in the company planning.
Fantastic, Ricardo. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Brains Byte Back. You're currently speaking to us from Spain, but from what I see, your career experience and growth have taken you to different parts of the world. Now you're in Madrid in your current role as Chief Revenue Officer at Fracttal. Can you talk to us a little bit about your journey up until now?
Yeah, well, I am originally from Venezuela. Okay, so I started working for a multinational company as a maintenance engineer, and after a while, the situation, all that, I have to look for new horizons, and I landed a job for a Toronto company. Okay, it was a very small company. It was like 3 or 4 sell people that entered the company. We were selling products all across Latin America, but the headquarters was in Toronto. So, it allowed me to understand or get those first steps into the sales environment. Then after a while, me and my family moved to Chile, to Santiago. And over there was where I met Chris and Alejo, Chris and Alejandro, our founders. And I entered that office and I felt like, oh my God, I met Wozniak and Jobs in the garage. It was an amazing feeling because I was trying to sell them something that I was selling at the time, but the conversation really, really quick veered off to talk about maintenance because that was my passion. And I understood perfectly what they were trying to do and the proposition they have. And I say, oh, I can help this guy so much. I came back home and talked to my wife about it. And we were discussing because it was, when you arrive to a country as an immigrant, you usually have all sort of odd jobs, For me, it was assembling electric bikes, then installing security cameras in a warehouse. Then I landed a job that I was a salesman, and then, I worked for a company selling technology, hardware specifically. But when I met Fracttal, it was like love at first sight. And I told my wife, this is what I want to do. And I wanted to take the risk. It was at first like, oh, come on, it's your 4th job in 3 months. You change a lot. But then she said, you know what, go for it. And I wrote Chris, and they said, you know what, we need some talent in the commercial team, come over. And I started selling almost from day one, and here I am, after a few years of doing this with the same passion, the same bright in the eye after the first day. It took me, I had to come to Madrid because we changed the headquarters from Santiago to here to Spain. Looking for opening new markets and new opportunities for the company. I came here first, and I've been with Fracttal since 2016.
You can hear the passion in your voice when you speak about it too. I love it. Can you also talk to us, to our listeners, and give us some insight into exactly what Fracttal is and how the idea for the company came about?
Yeah, of course. We are focused, like I said, in technology applied to maintenance management. And that start with a piece of software that is called a CMMS. It's computerized maintenance management system. This is a category that has been around for almost 30 years now. There are several global players and some big companies that are doing this. But what we saw at first is that for small and medium-sized companies, this was almost non-existent. No, and especially in Latin America, that all these companies that rely heavily on maintenance or were service companies, for example, they didn't have any tool for the digitalization. And especially if we were talking about in 2016, something cloud, something with a mobile app that was non-existent. We saw that niche, and it was a totally greenfield niche. We went for it. Okay, applying technology to these companies and then trying to digitalize them. We started from them. Okay, and then of course maintenance is like a technology hub, because several stuff that you can do, or several technologies can be applied to maintenance. Almost anything that you hear from industry 4.0 can be applied to maintenance, like IoT or artificial intelligence or blockchain even. All of those technologies can be applied to maintenance. So we now use that leverage that we have with the software, with that customer base we have, and we bring all these technologies to service at the maintenance management field.
Yeah, I was going to ask because I know it's somewhat of a saturated market when it comes to these softwares, right? Maintenance software specifically. What makes it today, Fracttal, more forward thinking in comparison to other companies?
Well, I think we all in the technology sector are always looking for new technologies, new ways to improve, and new ways to add value to our customers. And of course, Fractal and our colleague software, or competitors, to speak in a way, are doing sort of the same, but we have a unique point of view because we are focused on the small companies. Many of these innovations are tailored for the big corporate that have, I don't know, 20 or 15 facilities or plants, across the globe, and they have a budget of millions of dollars, or they can, apply this kind of technology to solar plants. But what happened with the small company, the one that have 5 technicians, 10 maintenance technicians, so on, they don't have that money to invest. Okay, so we are, well, in a way we understand this very well, even though we are well funded and then we have the muscle to invest in the technology. Our goal is always to make it affordable to these small companies, and that's a huge differentiator because it makes you, optimize everything. So the products that you launch are on a price tier that is adequate for these companies, and that you can still engage in conversations. You don't seem like selling snake oil. Okay. um that point of view is very interesting because not only not all not only small and medium-sized companies are attracted to this, but we also have big corporates that work in a decentralized way, or they have projects that require a solution like ours, and they are our customers too. So it's really interesting to see that our proposition, going to help with a easy to use software, easy to use technology, easy to implement software. It's also appealing to big corporates.
I think it's fair to say that when a technology becomes more accessible, it tends to become more popular, right? It grows more, people talk about it more. One entrepreneur talks about it with another, right? And I feel like that might be a big influence of why you guys are in 35 different countries across the globe.
Yeah, we have first we have a great sales team. We grew almost organically through all the countries in Latin America, but then we have a very robust partner network that they help us sell in other geographies and other countries. And also we landed a few customers that are big corporates that they have operations in several countries that also add up to those 35 countries we are operating right now.
Ricardo, could you talk to us a little bit about the AI aspect of it that you're using in your software as
Yeah,
well?
yeah, of course. Yeah, for us, well, we started working on AI a few years ago, okay, because for maintenance, predictive maintenance, let's say, is the final frontier. It's something that we all look forward to achieve in our software. So we started with first a small project, then a full-fledged product, and we've been working with artificial intelligence for years now. Okay, so what we see is that it's very helpful, okay, for predictive maintenance specifically. It's very helpful to have a tool that helps you select the best model that works, because you have even millions of models that can be applied to any certain failure mode or assets in general. Okay, so helping you understand what is the best option you have there is something that a human could take years to achieve. But the AI is very very fast to understand this, compile all the information, and select the best model. So we've been working with that for a few years now, and since last year we've been working with LLM, okay, large language models, also to help well, to make the software even easier. Okay, we have several problems in maintenance. For example, you can call a certain spare part, for example, in different ways. Okay, that in English I don't think that it's that common, but in Spanish, in Latin America, you have several countries that speak different varieties of Spanish, and the same spare part, for example, a bearing, okay, can have 5 or 6 names, and it's very difficult for a manager that is overseeing all the region to understand that he's having troubles in the same spare part all across the operations. But way AI and large language models, they can understand it, that all the technicians are talking about the same spare part. The final report is going to be very very easy to compile. Also, we can help generate with generative AI. We can help our customers read the manuals, for example, and get the response that they're looking for, or the maintenance plan that they're looking for, in a way that is more straightforward and can be implemented with 2 clicks in the software. So for us, artificial intelligence is something that can really really help our customers. Okay. Um, in maintenance, this is something, if you ever talk to a maintenance guy, he's gonna tell you that he's got no time to spare. Okay, they usually very busy. There is a ton of work that is actually not being done because they don't have time to it. And we believe that, helping these guys uh, with this technology can release or liberate many many work hours for them to focus on other things that they should be doing as well. So for maintenance, AI is something that can help improve the level of the maintenance that these people is performing.
I feel like most people that would work in maintenance would be a little bit hesitant when it comes to certain types of technology. But what's been the reaction from people, your customers specifically, when you've introduced, LLM, generative AI?
Yeah, well, it's a market of definitely show don't tell stance. Okay. uh Unfortunately, we've been bombarded with promises for the last 10 to 12 years around AI. Okay, there are big players over there that were selling models that they work. Of course, they work, but they needed a lot of effort to be applied to certain or to a specific problem in maintenance. Okay, so there were many 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 projects that failed to reach their goals. Okay, and we encounter a lot of people that is skeptical. Okay, so what we devise, or our stance was, well, this have to work like magic. This have to work, and people should see it and say, oh my god, this is something that is impossible for me to replicate. If we are able to achieve that, usually the sales come along. Okay. But in general, there's a lot of resistance in a way when you talk about it, but when you show it and people see it in action, it's like day and night. Okay. Also, maintenance usually is a very conservative, so to speak, in a technology stance. It's very conservative in the way that they don't apply, or they don't want to change everything from night to day. Okay, so you have to do the work, deliver value, convince them, and get other stakeholders as well convinced that this product that you're selling is very, yeah, it can add value to the process that they are managing.
That's where your job comes in, the sales
Yeah,
aspect, right? Specifically.
exactly. Yeah, it's a lot of talking, convincing, educating. That's what we do.
So I wouldn't necessarily associate maintenance with carbon footprint, but I was reading that apparently digitizing maintenance helps a lot to reducing the carbon footprint. How exactly? Can you give us some examples?
Yeah, in Spanish, sustainability is a synonym of maintenance, okay? Because it's something that needs to be working properly for years and years. And there are three aspects that we can impact real quick, okay? The first one, if when you have a properly maintained asset, it usually consumes less energy, okay? Imagine you have a vehicle or an electric motor. If you do the lubrication on time and in the best way possible, that asset is going to use less energy to operate. Okay, that's the first one. It's calculated that 10% of the world energy it's lost due to maintenance problems. Okay, so this is a huge uh, impact that we can have if we could manage to help all the maintenance people in the world. But imagine that's 10%. That's roughly the energy output of Germany. Okay, it's like taking all the carbon footprint of Germany out of the grid, just with maintenance. Also, we can help extend the life cycle of the assets. Okay, for example, you usually when you buy an asset for an industry or a plant or any other business, you have a business plan and it has to last, I don't know, 10 years. Okay, but with proper maintenance, you can extend that lifespan by 50%, for example. Okay, we measure that in our data set, it was around 45% of extended life that we could achieve with other assets. And that's very important because less assets, you need less assets to do the same work. Okay, you can reduce, of course, the need of new machinery, the need of new spare parts. All of that is reduced with proper maintenance. Okay. Um. Well, the third one, it's, let's say, more operational, but in a sense, when you have, for example, technicians that are on the field that they have to serve several customers at once, with the proper planning and route planning and all that, you can reduce, of course, the footprint that they live in when they travel to the service destination. So those are just three of many impacts that we have in this regard.
So alongside sustainability, I'm sure a top of mind for company owners, business owners out there, they also want to make sure that the systems they're using are secure. If their information's going, if their assets are being tracked in that system, if billing information is being put in there, how do you reassure them? Like what aspects of Fracttal reassure them that, the software is secure to use?
Yeah. Well, that's a major concern from us, okay? Especially because we come from Latin America, which is not a very digitalized region of the world, okay? So people are very skeptical of digital solutions. So you need to perform like a very high level for them to feel reassured that you're not selling, snake oil, like I said. And also, we are certified ISO 27000. Okay, that's a company-wide effort that every single one of us has to pass. Okay, an exam certifications, all the audits that are needed to keep that certification, and in general, well, it's part of the culture of the company. Okay, I'm not lying if I say that our CTO loses sleep because security. He has previous experience when the company was, well, have a crisis with cybersecurity, and that's one of our major concerns. Okay, so we work, of course, with state of the art technology and products. Okay, to help us guarantee that our infrastructure and is secure. Okay, and also we keep active monitoring and we are all the time checking the systems and checking the load of the servers. All of that is done routinely because for us security is a major concern.
It seems to be a major concern for a lot of people, especially this year with the numbers coming out in terms of cyber attacks and whatnot. Before I let you go, I'd like to ask you, what's the future of Fracttal? What's in the pipeline? What can we expect from your team in the near
Yeah,
future?
well, like I said, we're working a lot on artificial intelligence. Okay, IoT is another technology that we're working very hard on. We just recently launched our new version of the software, We believe that that's going to be very short-lived because AI is going to change everything, the way we communicate and the way we interact with data and machines and all that. So for us, that's the future, making a software is even easier to use, even easier to implement, and we can serve global markets. For example, we see a lot of companies that are located in different geographies. Now with the nearshoring effect, a lot of companies are relocating to countries like Spain, Mexico, or Poland, where the local language is very different from the management language. Okay, so they need to translate in real time what's going on, and without using AI, that's a complex problem to solve. But using AI, it's gonna work, like I said, like magic. And you have people working on the same on their own model language, and that is directly translated to the people that is working in management or making decisions, and it's going to be translated in their own language correctly, and without any ambiguities. So for us, what is happening right now is what we can see is just a glimpse of what we will be working in the future. And for us, it's a stance where we want to be a 100 years company, and using this technology for the value of our customers is something that really interests us.
I can only see the demand for something like this growing. Ricardo, thank you again for chatting with me and giving us some insight into Fracttal and how you guys are reinventing the industry by valuing both emerging technologies and the environment. All the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eric. A pleasure.
That's a wrap for today's episode. If you benefited from what you've learned today, feel free to leave us a review on iTunes. You can also find all our past and future episodes on YouTube and Spotify under Brains Byte Back. And if you'd like to connect with us directly, you can always reach out to us by email at info@sociable.co. Remember, your feedback helps us grow. We welcome it. We appreciate you joining us. Until next time.